check it out, check it out. Hey, hey, like a song comes on strong, like the music on and on. Yeah, yeah. Let's take it. Lovely island woman in my arms, fill up my life with all her charm. The way she moves, it feels so sweet. Rocking on time to the island beat. The Canadian music in my song. The Canadian music turns me on. Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. Yeah, yeah. Like a song comes on strong. Like a music on and on. Yeah, yeah. Never felt this way before. When the music stops, I just ask for more. It's no time, but it takes some time. Can't remember when we had so much fun. The Canadian music in my song. The Canadian music turns me on. Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. Yeah, yeah. Like a song comes on strong. Like a music on and on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a song comes on strong. Like a music on and on. Yeah, yeah. Like a song comes on strong. Like a music on and on. Like a song comes on strong. Like a music on and on. get you some fish, gal. All for you, gal, all for you. When I get home, gonna fix you up a dish, gal. All for you, gal, all for you. Mama lele, mama lele, mama lele, mama lele, mama lele, mama and everybody was there. I said over and over and over again, this dance is gonna be a dry. I said over and over and over again, this dance is gonna be a dry. You, and all at once it happened. I saw the prettiest girl in this world. I said, won't you come over and talk to me and be my girl? I said, won't you come over and talk to me and be my girl? You, Lady Horn. Even say you're sorry when you hear the jungle news. Everybody, join the party. That's what jungle news about. Hey, dance, shake, jump, wine, move, twisting. Right on time, yeah. Shake it, come on the jump, and one. Everybody join the party. That's what jungle news about. If you see your neighbor or your pastor daughter acting like they out of control, even if you're acting, feeling very happy, don't be strangers and jungle news. All the rhythm of the jungle, it's supposed to make you. Don't be strange, carry on fine. Everybody join the party. That's what jungle news about. Hey, dance, shake it, jump, wine, move, twist it, right on time, dance, shake it, jump, and wine. Everybody join the party. That's what jungle news about. Everybody join the party. That's what jungle news about. Everybody join the party. That's what jungle news about. Everybody join the party. That's what jungle news about. Oh, everybody join the party. That's what jungle news about.
you tight. And you can smile, every smile for the man who held your hand beneath the pale moonlight. And don't forget who's taking you home, in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. And no, no, say that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have your fun, laugh and sing, but while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home, or in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Ooh, baby, don't you know I love you so? Can't you feel it when we touch? I would never ever let you go. Ooh, I love you all so much. You can dance and go and carry on till the night is done and it's time to go. And if he asks if you're all alone, can he walk you home? You must tell him no. And don't forget who's taking you home, in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. No, I know, say that the music's fine, like sparkling wine. Go and have it fun, laugh and sing, but while we're apart, don't give your heart to anyone. And don't forget who's taking you home, in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. And don't forget who's taking you home, or in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Ooh, baby, won't you save the last dance for me? Save the last dance, the very last dance for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a round of applause for the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band. Welcome to the 13th Commonwealth Women's Affairs Ministers Meeting. Please stand as we welcome them all. Her Excellency Sonia Kopp, High Commissioner, Australia. The Honorable Lisa Ramming, Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development, the Bahamas. Shayla Sharma, Senior Assistant Secretary, Bangladesh. The Honorable Kirk Humphrey, Minister, Barbados. The Honorable Dolores Balderramos Garcia, Minister of State, Belize. The Honorable Tumiso MacDonald Rakare, Minister, Botswana. The Honorable Yang Ber Hormat Dato Seri Setia Awang Haji Nazmi bin Haji Mohammed, Minister of Culture, Youth Sports and Culture, Brunei Darussalam. Her Excellency Marie Obama Epsi Abena Ondoa, Minister of Women Empowerment and Family, Cameroon. Her Excellency Emina Tudarkovic, High Commissioner of Canada, Canada. The Honorable Senator Themba Masuka, Deputy Prime Minister, Eswatini. The Honorable Linda Tubeya, Minister for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, Fiji. Her Excellency Mrs. Sani Aodu Aikatau, High Commissioner of Gabon to the UK, Gabon. The Honorable Fatou Kinte, Minister, the Gambia. Dr. Pritam B. Yashvant, Joint Secretary, India. The Honorable Aisha Jumwa, Cabinet Minister, Kenya. The Honorable Jean Sendeza, Minister, Malawi. The Honorable Nancy Shukri, Minister, Malaysia. The Honorable Mrs. Niru Guloa, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Mauritius. Ms. Martha Mbobo, Executive Director, Namibia. The Honorable Isabella De Giago, Deputy Minister, Nauru. Her Excellency Cyprian Heen, Minister of Political Affairs, Nigeria. The Honorable Jeanette Beiseng, Minister, Rwanda. The Honorable Orlando Brewster, Minister, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Honorable Leota Laki Lamositeli, CO, Minister, Samoa. Ms. Joyce Mikateko Maluliliki, Director General, South Africa. The Honorable Lord Vea, Minister, Tonga. Ms. Shelley Ann Hart, Director, Gender Affairs Section, Trinidad and Tobago. Her Excellency Nimisha Madhanui, High Commissioner, Uganda. Her Excellency Dr. Asha Rose Migiro, High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Ms. Mercy Kitonga, Acting High Commissioner, the United Republic of Tanzania. Mrs. Mainga Kabika, Permanent Secretary, Gender Division, Zambia. The Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe, Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Bahamas. The Honorable I. Chester Cooper, Minister of Tourism and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister, the Bahamas. Secretary General of the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, King's Counsel. And now, with fanfare from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, please welcome Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Honorable Philip E. Davis, King's Counsel, and Mrs. Davis. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, performed by local singing sensation, Mrs. Alia Coley, and remain standing for the prayer by Reverend Angela Palacios.
Together to a steady sun will go the weather, hide the wide and trench with soul. To your God, Martin, Bahama, Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we come in humble gratitude to praise and thank you for being who you are and doing what you do. Your amazing grace is beyond our comprehension. We especially thank you for this Commonwealth 13th Women Affairs Ministers meeting in our beautiful Bahama land. We ask for you to be present in a special way with these, your gifted daughters who lead such significant ministries. We thank you for their strength and courage to respond to the call for such a time as this. We pray for wisdom and discernment, insight and understanding as they discuss the injustice and inequality experienced by so many women and their children and by differently abled persons. Help them, these dynamic leaders, to find answers to the challenges of gender-based violence and the many mental health issues facing all people. Lord, we need guidance on topics such as economic and political empowerment and ways to achieve greater technological advancement. May this official opening ceremony open doors to new creative ideas and broaden avenues for networking in the meetings to follow. Let there be a fresh anointing on each person, family, and country represented here as we work for equality toward a common future. We pray all of these prayers in the precious name of Jesus Christ, our Savior and Lord. Amen.
Please be seated.
When you were born, your first breath was a ripple across oceans of lost men. You came with nothing but your name clenched tight in your fists, purpose, a fire swelling in your heart. And when you opened your eyes, you knew God. Baby girl, girl born with wings and destined for flight, spending suns gliding over baby blue skies, etched all of your dreams in clouds you thought you'd never come down from. But no one told you that this world would test you, that a day would come where you must learn gravity before understanding the definition, that the people would gawk at the pearl white of your feathers, watch you pluck away at yourself to mirror everyone else. But little girl, I'm so proud of you. For the moments you felt broken and pieced yourself back together, pushing and pushing and pushing through the scale of their slanders and stinging rejections, pushing and pushing and pushing, bearing the obesity of everyone's expectations and still saying yes. I deserve the sky. I deserve the sun and moon and everything I dreamed of. Through all of the trials, through all of the tribulations, this world is mine for the taking. To the little girl in me, with a heart of gold and freedom under her feet, we have made it. Thank you. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the woman I am because of all you've went through. I am the wo
thought the march was very, very good. Today we're celebrating 61 years, Doris Johnson, what she did to promote women to bring us to this stage to where we are today.
Seeing the little girls was the coolest part to me because, you know, that's our future.
I actually thought it was amazing to see so many females come out and support one another. It makes me know that, you know, we have actually grown. I know where we came from, and I know we have to go further.
A woman's march, that is something that's very different, so I really liked it, and I feel like it's a great turnout for being the first one.
I feel good. I'm proud to be a woman in this Bahama land.
I am so proud to be a woman in the Bahamas.
One of the foundations of the Ministry of Social Services is equality and inclusion. Performing a most fitting song composed by Bahamian legend E. Clement Bethel, When the Road Seems Rough, please welcome Ashley Knowles and friends with special guest, former student of the Salvation Army School for the Blind, Ms. Abby Daxon.
When the road seems rough, when you've had enough, don't faint, don't sigh, don't cry, wonder why, just keep on trying. Your sighing, look beyond the present way. This time will pass, tomorrow's another day.
welcome the Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Obadiah H. Wilchcombe.
Thank you very much to the Right Honorable Prime Minister and his beautiful wife, Mrs. Davis. And allow me, and I ask you to please, a round of applause as they celebrate their anniversary today. Secretary General, so good to have you in the Bahamas. My colleague ministers visiting our country, Dame Marguerite, Dame Janet, all delegates, I'm imbued with pride and honor to be able to welcome you to this wonderful country, the Bahamas. I welcome you from the salt ponds of Inagua to the fishing flats in Bimini, the gateway to the Bahamas. You've come to a country that is celebrating 50 years of independence, a country that wrote in 1973 that no man, woman, or child will ever again be slaves or bondsmen to anyone. A country that told the world that it would be a country of revolutionary change, but with social order. A country where we've endured difficulties such as you have, dealing with global recession, dealing with a deadly pandemic, and certainly climate change affected us. And the hurricanes we've had, Francis, Jane, Wilma, Matthew, Joaquin, and Dorian, all causing severe damage to our country. The common denominator in all that we've had has been the Bahamian people, a resilient people that will fall but would rise up. And our country has demonstrated to the world that we embrace the words of our national anthem, "See how the world marks the manner of our bearing." In fact, just 24 hours ago, the Bahamas was celebrating in Jamaica when we successfully won the swimming championships in the Goodwill Games. And then, of course, last night we were all glued to the television set as the Bahamas, for the first time in history, our men's national basketball team earned a trip to the qualifying round of the Olympics. A great people, a resilient people, a striving people. Fellow delegates, we've assembled here in this country to deal with some vexing issues, to deal with issues that some would say are impatient of debate. Our theme, equality for a common future, is a theme girded by the charter of our Constitution. The Commonwealth Constitution makes it very clear that we ought to be focusing on peace and prosperity. Over the next several days, we will certainly deal with the tough issues such as economic empowerment of women, issues that we believe we can find answers for, women in leadership, violence against women and girls, gender and climate change, and of course the question of inclusion. Over these meetings, we certainly will reflect on the women who were taken from us. We'll think about the women who are beaten and who live in sounds of silence. We'll think of the little girl who simply has a dream to be somebody, who wants an education, who wants to fulfill her dreams. We'll think of the young girl at the orphanage who sings the song, I'm nobody's child, nobody wants me, when they discover that I'm blind. And we'll focus on the strength of our NGOs and civil society who have been working tirelessly, not only here, but globally, to bring change to the world. Fellow delegates, our people accept and will want from us exceptional leadership. Leadership that can, in fact, make it happen, that can, in fact, change the world. And we've done it here in the Bahamas before. It was 1985 when the Commonwealth met in the Bahamas and made that great stride and big step toward the release of Nelson Mandela. We played a major role, you, the Commonwealth, we collectively played a major role in the change. And 6 years later, he walked a free man, free of the chains and the shackles. It is now our time to unchain, remove the shackles from the women of the world. We have the opportunity. The strength of the Commonwealth collectively can make that change. And we believe that this conference offers us the opportunity. It just happens to be the right time. Fellow delegates, I've been reminded by my colleague, who is the Deputy Prime Minister of our country, that whilst you are here, please enjoy, please celebrate this wonderful nation, 50 years of peace, love, and progress. See our accomplishments, enjoy what we have, and see how collectively a people can agree to disagree, agreeably, but make a difference in the interest of us all. Because when you leave, the deputy would wish you to remember and to spread the world that it is indeed better in the Bahamas. I thank you.
Please welcome Principal Secretary of the Minister of Public Service, Gender and Affirmative Action of Kenya, Veronica M. Unduva.
Thank you so much. The Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, and your lovely wife, ministers present here, fellow principal secretaries, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, fellow delegates, Bahamians, good afternoon. Good afternoon once more. As you've heard, my name is Veronica Nduva, and I'm the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Gender from the Ministry of Public Service and Affirmative Action in Kenya. And we are handing over to the Bahamas. Coming to the Bahamas was arguably the longest journey I've ever taken in my life. Now, unfortunately, I made a mistake. I took pictures from my balcony, from the surroundings, and though I vowed I don't want to do such a long journey, now my children all want to come here. We share a common beauty with the Bahamas. We do have the beautiful sandy beaches, but we do also have the amazing safari, the wildebeest migration. Kenya is a land of great people, great runners, and we are more than honored to be here. Allow me, distinguished delegates, from the outset, to give the apologies of my Cabinet Secretary, the distinguished Honorable Aisha Juma. Please accept her apologies as she wouldn't travel at this point in time to be here, but tomorrow she will make her remarks through video address at the Ministerial. We, as Kenya, have had the honor, the distinct honor of chairing this meeting twice. The first meeting was held, the first chairing by Kenya was back in 1985. I will not tell you how old I was then. However, we recently took over the leadership and the chair from 2019 to 2023. During that period, we have enjoyed great support from all the members here, the member states, great support from the delegates, and immense great support from the Commonwealth Secretariat. So thank you so much, the Secretary General. During our time, we were able to host the 12th Wamm, and many of us here in the room honored us with your visit. And therefore, when we saw that the 13th Wamm is at the Bahamas, we had no option but to come. And we are happy that we are here. And thank you for the amazing and warm welcome. As a country, we continue to make strides, as all of you, in the area of gender equality and women empowerment. It continues to be a journey, and we appreciate that now we are handing over to the Bahamas. The Bahamas, you are taking over the mantle. I urge you, as you take over the leadership, that you benefit from the peer global learning that is present in this room. I urge you to listen and walk with those who have walked the journey and those who hope to walk the journey after you. I urge you to hold hands with the Commonwealth Secretariat because they have a wealth of experience in managing this. It is our honor that we have managed to serve, and we will definitely support you. We will definitely walk with you, and we are happy that we could hand over peacefully. We took over a time when there was COVID-19, but we still managed to fly the flag high. So it is now over to you. Keep the flag flying even higher. Keep it going. Keep everyone in common, and let the wealth be amongst us. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you've given us. Thank you so much for the beautiful presentations, and I wish you a pleasant evening. Thank you.
Welcome the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, King's Counsel.
Right Honourable Prime Minister, I like to say my dear friend and comrade in arms, the beautiful and most dynamic First Lady, who has absolutely enthralled us this afternoon in a way that is quite remarkable, and I think none of us will forget. Honourable ministers, excellencies, esteemed guests, partners, friends, and colleagues, it is wonderful to see you here in the beautiful, stunning land of the Bahamas. And I want you, please, to congratulate yourselves for making the journey. I know that each and every one of you are going to experience something that you've never experienced before. And can I take this moment to thank my dear sisters from Kenya who have held the banner high for 4 years, twice the time that one would normally expect, and they aren't long-distance runners for nothing. But this baton now has been passed from Africa to the Caribbean. And you know, those of us who come from Africa to the Caribbean have a great history too, because we can run and swim even faster. So it's a great pleasure and a privilege to be with you. And as I look out, I can see so many of our friends, so many of our family members, who have been on this journey with us. And therefore, it is a great joy to be back here in the Bahamas, just a month on from my last visit to join the celebrations to mark the 50th anniversary of your independence. As I came in, someone said, "You're back so soon?" So I was tempted to say, I never left. Because my spirit has remained here. And it is impossible not to be moved by the awe and wonder of the 200-million-year-old islands which make up this proud nation. The thousands of years of human history, tradition, and inheritance, and the immutable spirit of friendship, openness, and generosity, even when faced with hardship. I held my breath as my minister and friend recited all the hurricanes that have come, but all the hurricanes which have gone. And they've left behind a people with spirit and resilience and absolute fortitude. And from the first setting of the Luca Kari people right up to today, the story of the Bahamas is one of steadfast resilience. And the Prime Minister is the embodiment of that steadfast resilience. And the Bahamas gives such a generous gift to the world in politics, in culture, in sport, music, and so much more. All you have, when you think of the Bahamas and the great men and women from the Bahamas, you can think of all of the sportsmen and women, the artists, but most of us who are young, like me, remember Harry Belafonte. And that epitomizes the great spirit. And we here come from far and wide to marvel at the Bahamian attractions. But we leave with a wholeness and a deeper appreciation of the beauty and meaning life can offer. And I would like to see how many people here today will not be coming back. Not a hand. And I feel sorry for all of your purse strings, because your daughters, your sons, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents will all want to come too. But it's an important moment for us, because as we gather here with this vital Commonwealth Women Affairs Ministers meeting, we do so with gratitude for the wonderful warm welcome you have given us, and with gratitude, Honourable Prime Minister, for the extensive work you have undertaken to ensure that we are fully prepared. We are here, we are ready, and I know all honourable ministers, indeed everyone here, will share that gratitude. The Commonwealth is a really special family, a vibrant and important family. We are 1/3 of the world's population. 56 countries, 56 nations, stretched across 5 continents and 6 oceans, but bound by a unique blend of values, interests, and practical advantages. The indispensable combination, together with our capacity to tackle challenges and navigate change in an action-oriented way, give us enormous potential as a force for good in the world. And we are a force for good in the world when we come together with purpose and boldness. Our ministerial meetings are an essential part of what we do. Throughout our 70-year history, creating the space for ministers and decision makers to share knowledge, perspectives, and experiences has really helped to drive action in our member states on the most pressing issues of our times, and has helped to set bold agendas for change and progress across the Commonwealth and in the wider world. So I want to echo what the Minister said in opening this, that this is our time. This is the moment. So this meeting of the Women's Affairs Ministers, the 13th since 1985, and let me say, unlucky for some, but lucky for us, is our opportunity to write another chapter in the rich Commonwealth story of shared commitment and common action. And it comes at the most vital time. Our world faces serious challenges. The long political, social, and economic shadow of COVID-19. Crippling debt, rising inflation and high interest rates, spiraling costs for food and energy, the tremors and torment of instability and conflict, and the increasingly harsh and dangerous impacts of climate change. I know that Grand Bahama and Abaco still tremble as a result of Hurricane Dorian. And that scar has not yet been erased. Each of these challenges can be characterized as a grave and serious crisis, but they interconnect, intertwine, and worsen one another. In each of them, the impact on women and girls is disproportionate. And overall, they threaten the advances on women's empowerment and gender equality, which we have worked so hard to achieve. Our agenda for this vital Wamm will allow us to examine the immediate challenges threatening the safety, equality, empowerment, and economic advancement of women across our Commonwealth. And beyond the challenges of today, it will enable us to pool our collective experience and ingenuity to identify how we can put women and girls in the heart of a better tomorrow by seizing the opportunities before us, especially in digitalization, innovation, and the use of the technical revolution. Since I became Secretary General, gender equality has been mainstreamed across all of our work. We have forged new partnerships, and the Commonwealth Programme of Support and Assistance is more comprehensive than it has ever been. So I promise you that as we dig deep to rise to our challenges and seize our opportunities, your collective determination will be matched by the extensive support the Secretariat will make available to all of you. Your resolutions and conclusions will shape and strategic priorities of our Commonwealth Secretariat, and they will shape the global agenda, especially for our heads of government when they come together in Samoa for CHOGM next year. The timeless Commonwealth spirit of unity, purpose, and ambition has always served us well. It will serve us well again this week. So let us resolve that the chapter we will write together here in the Bahamas will lead us to a safer, more peaceful, more sustainable, and more equal and more prosperous future for all the women and girls, and indeed for all the 2.5 billion people of our Commonwealth family. As we know, the Bahamas has done it before. If in the Bahamas, we, the Commonwealth, came together and were able to free Nelson Mandela, isn't it time we now freed the women of the world too? Nelson Mandela once said, everything seems impossible until it's done. So let's do it.
We invite you to join in the spirit of celebration and togetherness as once again we welcome Ashley Knowles and friends with a rousing spiritual anthem.
We shall overcome.
And now, we ask that you stand as we welcome the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Honorable Philip Davis, King's Counsel.
Good evening, and please be seated. In another place, I would have been introduced before the music. And then they would have said, the next voice you will hear. But then they'll expect me to preach. I stand on the established protocol, but I deem it appropriate to always extend a very warm welcome to my comrade in arms, Baroness Patricia Scotland. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And of course, all the ministers who are here present, and my cabinet colleagues. And of course, today is my anniversary. So I have to acknowledge the presence of the one who put up with me for all these years, my lovely wife, Anne-Marie. And just let me say good evening to all of you. And thank you for joining us tonight as we discuss the advancement of women throughout the Commonwealth. The government of the Bahamas is honored to host this gathering of public sector, private sector, and civil society leaders who share a real commitment to forging a better way forward. Only when we do more to protect and empower women in our societies will our communities and societies achieve our full potential. As we work toward our promise to bring a new day to the Bahamas, my administration relies on a diverse team with broad expertise and varied backgrounds, inclusive of women occupying key positions in the cabinet and throughout the government. While we acknowledge this progress, we still want to see more political and government participation, and we know that achieving this requires active leadership and thoughtful policies. We also know that despite the great strides which have been made by women in the workplace, women can occupy more of the top spots in our private sector corporate structures. All of our children should have an expectation that their hard work, excellence, and achievements will be evaluated fairly. One element to driving progress means doing more to make sure entrepreneurs have access to the capital and technical support necessary to bring their entrepreneurial dreams into fruition. It's time to demolish the walls of the old boys' clubs. Only when opportunities are open, only when opportunities are opened up more widely will we truly be making the most of the talent and ingenuity of all humanity. The world has a lot of urgent problems to solve. We need all hands on deck. It is a terrible and tragic reality that many women are not able to fully dedicate themselves to developing their talents and careers because they suffer from violence. My administration has sought to address the social and systemic factors contributing to violence against women and girls through increased funding to construct a new women's shelter and to provide legal aid for survivors of domestic violence through social services and the Office of the Judiciary. We have also made meaningful progress in protecting survivors of domestic abuse and sexual violence through the recently passed Protection Against Violence Act, which establishes and protects the rights of victims, allows for the allocation of more resources, and focuses on sensitizing and training within the police force and other organizations that work directly with survivors. The levels of violence against women and girls remain unacceptable. We can't stop working on this issue until women are safe everywhere, whether they're walking alone at night, in their workplaces and schools, or at home with loved ones. As we address these pressing issues, We must also be more inclusive of women living with disabilities to ensure that every woman feels empowered, protected, and included in our plans. Many who live in coastal areas and small island developing states will bear the worst of the impacts of climate change. This is especially true for lower-income families who lack the resources to relocate or adequately prepare for the severe storms and flooding associated with rising global temperatures. It is so critical that we constantly evaluate how different issues affect members of our population differently, and make sure we are designing policies which are effective for all. The time is now for our Commonwealth community to be unabashedly ambitious in our goals and plans. We need more than slogans. We need commitments. Let's maximize the opportunity before us to exchange ideas, learn from one another, and lay the foundation for more effective policy solutions. Wamm provides an ideal platform to which we can have the conversations that can change the world. The discussions and resolutions that emerge will pave the path for the agenda for the upcoming Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa. Your work can be the catalyst for much-needed momentum toward a better, more just world for everyone. And for that, I thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the exuberance that is Bahamian culture, told through the experiences, voices, and pens of Bahamian women. Let the cultural show begin. Since the Bahamas became a sovereign nation in 1973, and well before that pivotal point in our history, Bahamian women have accomplished so much worthy of celebration. Today, we pay tribute to a number of history-making women across their many fields. This is by no means an exhaustive list, so we invite you to allow these highlights to serve as a catalyst for honoring all that Bahamian women have achieved in and beyond this country known as the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Beginning with politics, we have the incomparable achievements of the Right Honorable Janet Bostwick, the Honorable Rome Italia Johnson, Dame Joan Sawyer, Dame Ivy Dumont, Dame Marguerite Pindling, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, the Honorable Allison Maynard Gibson, the Honorable Loretta Butler Turner, and many others. In culture, the following women have made an impact in ways too innumerable to mention: Maureen Duvalier, Kayla Lockhart Edwards, Joanne Callender, Arlene Nash Ferguson, Shirley Hall Bass, Pandora Gibson Gomez, Claudette Cookie Allens, Dr. Patricia Bozard, Dr. Audrey Dean Wright, Jeannie I. Thompson, Dr. Nicolette Bethel, Dr. Patricia Glinton McColis, and so many more. In education, we owe thanks to Naomi Blatch, Keva Bethel, Marjorie Davis, Dr. Natasha Swan, Miss Elma Garraway, Emma Cooper, Therese Carey Curry, and the thousands of Bahamian women responsible for educating our youth today. The sporting arena was marked by Gail North, who later became Dr. Gail Saunders, Patricia Elaine Thompson, Althea Roll, Christine Jones, Sabathita Fines, Chandra Sturrup, Pauline Davis Thompson, Debbie Ferguson, Eldise Clark Lewis, Tonique Williams Darling, Shanae Miller Weibo, Jonquil Jones, and the list goes on and on. Shifting gears, the first women to join the Royal Bahamas Police Force were Anita Bethel, Teresa Baker, Norma Clark, Alceda McFall, Hildred McLean, and Esther Stubbs. And we can't forget the work of Dr. Sandra Dean Patterson, the Reverend Angela Palacios, Miss Wendy Craig, Dr. Vernell Allen, Hilda Bowen, Patrice Clark Washington, Aisha Bowe,
Chantel O'Brien, and many others. When it comes to Bahamian women and our accomplishments, tradition has been both kept and broken. We are gracing many different halls with our gifts and genius and finding new ways to demonstrate. It's better in the Bahamas.
Please welcome Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Honorable Philip Davis, King's Counsel, who will be making a presentation to the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, King's Counsel. The cultural show continues with a rousing rendition of the song My Dignity by Bahamian cultural legend, Sweet Emily.
La, la, la. Yeah, man. Listen, you want to help to mind your family, you want to help your man financially, but nowadays it's really very hard to get a job as a girl in the land. You're looking out to find something to do. You need a boss man who promise to help you, but when the man lay down the condition, nothing else would humiliate. You want to see your whole anatomy, you want to see where your doctor never see. You want to do what your husband never do. Still you ain't know if the scams will hire you. But in all this humiliation, to get the job these days as a one, tell him he can keep his money, I can keep. At the end, I with my dignity. Hey! Oh, la, la, la. Ladies, this one for you. Listen. You see some of them park up already. Yeah, they sit down to pray on somebody, using the power of the cash and position, waiting to exploit a woman. To get the job, you have to go to bed with you, become a slave, second wife in deputy. And as the next woman come on the line, you tell your child you're no good, you can't want. You want to see some fancy moves. He want to see you look without your clothes. He want you to be a flexi acrobat. He want you to be can actually be man. I'll be boy to let down someone. All cause still police to come for me. Tell him they could keep his money, keep my honey and time and my dignity. Oh, yes, it's true. I'm going home with my dignity. You can't take that away from me. That's right, Miss Ramen. Thank you.
I don't think anything is more important than our Girls Symposium Focus on Dignity. Man, we have to build these young girls up, help them see that they are worthy. And like Sweet Emily say, we have to die with our dignity.
Oh, absolutely. And the best way to do that is through education. And on that note, I'd like to announce that we've got it.
Wait, you're saying it got approved?
What did you think I was saying? This got the approval of the Director of Education.
What, you mean to tell me that the women's suffrage movement will have its own section on the curriculum?
I think that's what approved means. Okay, so we've been tasked to gather the information on the movement and condense it in a way that the teachers will be able to include it in their social studies lessons.
Wait, so you're saying every student in every public school in our Commonwealth of the Bahamas,
the boys and girls will learn the lessons that the women's suffrage movement have taught us.
That is exactly what I am saying. Wow. Is that not what we work so hard for?
Well, I can't wait until we show Marion Bethel's film, Womanish Ways. Freedom, human rights, and democracy.
From 1948 to 1962. Or hear me out. Kim Alden Stubbs' essay, The Chronology of the Women's Suffrage Movement.
Okay, let's not put the cart before the horse. All right? So we have to go ahead and tell the stories, the tenacity embedded in these stories. And it should be taught in a way where the students begin to entertain the idea that the impossible is possible for them.
Right. Because for them, it's not gaining the right to vote, but it is gaining the right to say, you won't talk to me like that. You won't impose that on me. You won't touch my body that way. It's still women's rights. The relevance is glaring.
Yes, 61 years since women won the vote. That victory is no less relevant because in so many ways, women are still fighting.
That's right.
The approval of our proposal is a step in the right direction.
That's right. The best part is it's not just for the girls. When the little boys begin to learn the material, we are saying to them,
yes,
this is what women did in our country. We are saying to them, this is what women are capable of.
Exactly.
We are saying a woman is a prize vessel, worthy
of respect and honor.
Yes.
So tread right, my brother, tread right. I love this. Okay, so where do we start?
Okay, so in terms of approach, let's lift the lessons off the page by unpacking the life of each of the key figures in the movement. How about that?
Wouldn't it be best to tell the story of the whole struggle, the whole victory?
Every whole is a sum of parts. When we address the parts, we shed light on the entirety. The reason that Bethel's film is so popular is because we get to hear stories from real people.
Right. So for part one, let's introduce Mary Ingram, Eugenia Lockhart, Dames Bertha and Doris to them. If we can choose one main thing that each of these ladies can teach us, we have a hook.
Okay. So let's start with Miss Mary Ingram. Let's go. Shoot.
The year is 1949, and Mary Ingram's husband is a member of Parliament who lost his seat in Acklands and Crooked Island. And she believes that his loss is directly related to women not having the right to participate in elections.
I could hear her now. Rufus, if the women had the right to vote, you would have won your seat.
Yes.
Okay, so the lesson here?
Recognize the opportunity. After that 1949 election, she used Rufus's loss as a platform, joined with other determined visionaries, and the work of the movement began.
Recognize and galvanize.
Recognize and galvanize.
To recognize is admirable, you know.
It is.
But many defining moments in history, it came about and it was born out of galvanizing for a cause and not stop until you get what you came for.
You know, this is good. We should be recording this.
Oh, yeah, let's
all right,
record
let's.
too. Okay.
Okay. Eugenia Lockhart, what is one thing we learned from her?
I'd say be ready to have a seat at the table. This ragged island woman and Dame Dr. Doris Johnson went along with Henry Milton Taylor to London to agitate for universal adult suffrage. She was ready and willing to have a seat at the table. And what a table it was. Without those negotiations, the movement couldn't move.
You know, this is good because as we unpack these stories, we pair an actual woman with the lessons that their involvement can teach us. It's character-driven education. I love it.
Yes, stories stick. Okay, Mabel Walker.
Be willing to plant a tree you may never seek shade from.
Woo. Child, that sounds like gospel.
Wait. That goes against the grain of what many modern leaders exemplify. But when some people thief in trees for shade, you're saying Mabel Walker planted trees that never directly served her?
That's right. Mabel Walker was American. And although she agitated for many Bahamian women to vote, she never could. But her daughters could, and their daughters.
And our daughters and their daughters. Wow.
That's right.
We advance in this country when we're able to ask not what's in it for me, but what's in it for them. You know, I didn't fully understand this until I had children of my own.
Same here. And you know, we're not putting this information on the curriculum so that these students could pass some exam. We are equipping them to make a difference.
That's right. Because the way the world is shaping up, it's not enough to just be a leader anymore, you know. You have to be willing to be an agent of change.
Oh, wait. That's it. That's it right there, Jazz.
What?
That's what we'll call this section of the Bahamian history curriculum. Agents of change.
That sounds good.
Agents of change.
Like
even the title is a call to action.
Exactly.
I love the way your mind works. And you know, by including Mabel Walker's story, we help the students see that through politics, social reform, any level of civil or national service is for the possibility and for the purpose of making it better for those who cannot create better for themselves.
Yes.
Let's sponsor the paradigm shift. These women did that for us. Dame Albertha Isaacs.
Girl, listen.
Tell us.
This woman was an international tennis champion.
She was.
In the 1930s. At a time when she couldn't dine in certain restaurants, work in certain businesses in her own country. She goes on an international tennis circuit and wins tournaments. The lesson here, don't be afraid to seek the change you need beyond where you are.
You know, Dame Bertha's example is a fine one to study.
Point is, we never know what's on the other side of our courage to walk away from what's restricting us. We have trophies to win and territories to conquer when we practice this.
But that's just it, though. It's of a diamond nature, these lessons. You know what I mean? Because we get to see the miracle and the beauty of what's possible when we persist under pressure.
Go on.
I'm thinking of Althea Mortimer. She was one of the chief business educators in our country. She taught typing and other skills that equipped so many. She found where she needed to be in her role, and she ran in it in a way that impacted the futures of others.
Oh, right, and I think from Dame Dr. Doris Johnson, we learned the value of speaking up when you have something to say.
Yes.
Because she came back from home, joined the women's suffrage movement, and she identified where she was most needed.
Yes, the movement at that moment needed a spokesperson who could use her instrument of voice anywhere, not just in churches, homes, and halls, but in the House of Assembly and in London.
The women of the Bahamas have been awakened to their responsibilities and duties for many generations. And in the last 30 or 35 years, these women have vigorously carried out their responsibilities and duties in a manner comparable by those performed by women of any highly civilized country. That's how she began, y'all. Yes! When you begin like that, there's no question you'll end in triumph.
Okay, so Georgiana Simonet, what do we glean from that life?
Pass it on. She actively instills social obligation in her children. Remember, Mr. Dud Maynard said his mother took him with her to get signatures. He was active because she compelled him to take on the cause. As a boy, men were able to vote, you know, but she engaged him.
She made him.
Come along, yes. And as a result, Georgiana Simonet has had a son, Sir Clement, who served as a cabinet minister in every administration from 1967 to 1992, and 2 grandchildren who served in the halls of Parliament. It wasn't just a cause. She passed it on, and we cannot neglect to do this.
Don't get me started on pass it on. Y'all know how I feel about our golden girls. What? Do you know, though, that it is widely accepted that they were not just successful and won the gold because of their speed and experience? It was because they perfected passing it on.
Yes.
So now, in this nation, we will win the gold every time we pay attention to passing on the legacy of resilience that we are known for.
That's it, yes. Tell it. It's called intentionality.
Yes.
You know, I started scheduling these sessions with my grandmother and my mother, and we literally call it pass it on.
Really? You serious? I knew you were doing it, but I didn't know y'all named it.
Girl, naming a thing makes it official. My mommy and my Grammy, they're passing down recipes, lessons, strategies, all these things that they learned in life, and my girls love it. Opulence can make pineapple tart at 12.
At 12?
Lavish can plait straw at 9.
Wow.
And these are cultural skills, right? I mean, even their conversations are so advanced. They are young, dignified ladies.
No, but that's so good.
Thank you so much.
So
you know that.
Okay, yes, okay, I'm happy to hear this. Okay, so we have the facts about the movement, but now we have to infuse the facts with deeper meaning. We just have to.
Yes, and as we touch on the individual contributions, we also have to look at the collective. So, let's reintroduce to the narrative the role of the church and community organizations in shaping this country.
Because, you know, often overlooked is the fact that Mrs. Ingram and Mrs. Walker were members of the Elk Lodge.
Yes, Mrs. Ingram was a past daughter ruler and past matron of the Order of Eastern Stars, and also a star in the East Lodge of Samaritans. Did you know that in 1975, when she wrote to the press, she said she was able to get more than 500 signatures with the assistance of Reverend Dr. H.W. Brown, and you know that's my good cousin, renowned senior pastor of the Bethel Baptist Church, Mr. Wilfred Toot, Mrs. Gladys Bailey, and even her own 5 children helped.
You know, no woman did it by herself,
Couldn't.
right? The power was in the collective, and the movement itself was helped along in undeniable ways by the power of the pulpits, the lodge halls, the markets, the porches, anywhere where women gather.
Anywhere.
And you know, it wasn't a quick victory, because Rufus Ingram lost his seat in 1949, and the woman didn't get the right to vote until 1962. That's a lot of months, a lot of signatures, a lot of speeches, but a lot of binding together for a greater good.
I apologize, ladies. I have a meeting, but we have to start on part 2. Okay, so Mrs. Irma Grant Smith, Lady Russell,
Mrs. Ruby Ann Darlin Cooper, Pauline Allen, and then we move on to part 3.
Oh, yeah, we have to. But this is a great start. We have the bones, so now we need to add on the flesh. Then we'll be able to present this to the ministry. Agents of change.
Agents of change.
How the women's suffrage movement shaped a better Bahamas.
Yes,
Sounds
this
sweet.
is it. This is it, ladies. I love it. I love it.
This, you know, we only have the framework right now, but now the real work begins. Okay, Nova, we nominate you to represent us to the next curriculum planning meeting.
I second that.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah, just sharing the burden of change. Just passing the baton, right, Jazz?
Exactly. That's what I love, that in this race of life, there's more than one way to be a golden girl.
But Nova, you don't mind being a golden girl, do you?
Not at all. But you know, I'm not just a golden girl.
Oh my, here we go.
Tell us, Nova.
I am woman.
Hear me roar!
Girl, you're going to be late to your meeting, you know.
I don't want to be late. Can't be late.
To ignore, and I know too much to go back and pretend. And I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me down again. Oh yes, I'm wise, but it's been still for the best. Yes, I paid the price. Put a
please remain in your seats for the recession of Commonwealth ministers, which will follow shortly after. We invite you to dance as Miss Fanchon Evans sings and Ricardo Christie's dance ensemble give you a taste of our Junkanoo music. Dance to the Junkanoo.
If you feel the rhythm or a new